Hello, hello, and welcome once again to the David Messiah YouTube channel, where our watchwords are to teach and to build back up the kingdom of Zion. And my name is Sidney Thomas. I'm the founder and the moderator. The title of this presentation is Blasphemy and the Former Husband of Kim Kardashian. Blasphemy and the Former Husband of Kim Kardashian. And what it is I'm supposed to do in this presentation is issue a warning. And that warning is against blasphemy by my brother there, the former husband of Kim Kardashian, and this is in regard to his change of name, which is to the name of the Most High, and that indeed is a blasphemy in the sight of the Most High. Okay, but before I even do that, let me go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, where the duty in this regard of a watchman is described. Because I do not attack the brother, it is no disrespect to the brother that I intend at all. It is simply a warning. Okay, so let me give the duty of the watchman in that regard. Um, And that's given here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, and I start at verse 2. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts and set him for their watchman. Verse 3. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Verse 4. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. Verse 6. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So I am constrained in this regard as a watchman. I am required to blow the trumpet if indeed I have been given that trumpet to blow as I have, and if indeed there is a sword come, and that sword in the form of the blasphemy of which I have spoken. Well, what is that blasphemy? Let me go to the book of John, chapter 8, and it's there in verse 58 and 59. Where Yeshua, let me read it. Yeshua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. And verse 59, then took they up stones to cast at him. Then took they up stones to cast at him, because here is Yeshua giving himself the name I am. And so they took up stones to cast at him because they understood that to be a blasphemy. Okay, so this is what we are dealing with here. Now, in the case of Yeshua, he was well sort of justified in calling himself by the name of the Father. But that is, there's a whole theology connected with that. There's a whole cosmology connected with that, wherein, must be addressed the exceptionalism that was applied to Yeshua in that regard. and indeed the exceptionalism that applies to anyone else who is also a begotten son of the Father, as was Yeshua, and also admitted unto life eternal with the Father. And let me just go quickly to Revelation chapter 1, verse 5, where we see and verse 5, and from Yeshua, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten. The first begotten. So Yeshua is a begotten Son of the Most High, and also already admitted to life eternal with the Father. And he can come from heaven, the heavenly realms, into the physical realm at any time that he chooses. So he is in a different category from one who is not a begotten Son, number one, and also not already admitted to life eternal with the Father. But as I have said, that there's a whole theology there connected with that, in effect, that multiplicity of the one. Because it must then be understood as a sort of a multiplicity. I mean, not the Father, Iye. He, together with his begotten sons, already admitted to life eternal. They become a sort of a multiplicity. And so, in the case of Yeshua, he could say, before Abraham was, I am, because he already is part of that multiplicity. Now, there's a theological issue there, which I won't say more about in this video. I might deal with it on another one, because there's doctrine as to that, there's speculation as to that, speculative doctrine as to that, and I can also seek for more definitive guidance as to that before indeed addressing it more formally. Okay, so I come as a watchman and I come to blow the trumpet. And what is this? What is this name of the Father? The name of the Father is, as I have been guided to bring to you in this book, The Coming of David Messiah, I've been guided to let you know the name of the Father is Yeh. And that is exactly the name that the former husband of Kim Kardashian has chosen for himself, and that is what constitutes the blasphemy. The name of the Most High is there addressed in the book of Exodus chapter 3, when Moses had his conversation there with the Father through the burning bush. So in the middle of the page, I threw up Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 to 15, and let's start at verse 13. And Moses said unto Yahweh, or I should simply say Eloah. God translates as Eloah or Eloah Elohim. Behold, when I come unto the children of Sharalo, and shall say unto them, the Eloah of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And verse 14. And Eloah said unto Moses, Iye Asher Iye. Now this here in red, that phrase Iye Asher Iye, is rendered in the English translation of the King James as I am that I am. But I'm guided that the proper vocalization is Iye Asher Iye, with some variation possible as to Asher, which is discussed in the text if you go and look at it. And continuing the verse 14, and he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Sharalo, Iye, which is rendered in the English as I am, Iye hath sent me unto you. So this is letting us to know, based on guidance given to me, that the proper vocalization of the name, the true name of the Most High, this is the subject of this chapter 3 of this book, The Coming of David Messiah. Chapter 3, the true name of the Most High, Its proper vocalization is Iye. And let me, to make further the context clear. Verse 15. And Eloah said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Shara, Yahweh, rendered in the English as the Lord in all caps, Eloah of your fathers, the Eloah of Abraham, the Eloah of Isaac, Zakaka, and the Eloah of Jacob, Jacob, hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So there are actually two names here. The name Iye is per se the name of the Most High. And in addition, the name Hawa with the suffix Hawa, which means the Most High, is how we are to call him unto all generations. And indeed, the prefix Iye is a sort of a family name for all those in the line of inheritance. So, for example, Yeshua is the proper name of the one rendered in English as Jesus. And I show here in this chapter 3 how Yeshua gets sort of morphed into Jesus through the Greek Jesus and then into the English, and then with various other changes ends up being Jesus. Okay, and in this book, well, I also show how Yahweh morphed into Jehovah. Okay, and I give other variations how Iye morphed into Yah, and etc. and etc. But I also go into the various rectified names of all those in the line of inheritance, all the entire cast of characters, so to say, including the prophets who have Iye in their names. So, for example, on this page, the name of John is properly Iye Canon, and Iye Canon morphed into John. And here's a list of all those names that we know so well from the English: Daniel, David, Elijah, Ephraim, and etc. and etc. I've looked at all of those. Okay, but the point I'm making is it is a blasphemy for any individual now to give themselves the name Iye unless they are a begotten son admitted unto life eternal with the Father. Okay, so that is the whole point and purpose of this upload. Yes, there's more that I can say, but I don't want to say more than that. Again, no disrespect is intended of the brother. But to call him by that name is a blasphemy. And let me just make this one point, which was sort of gurgling at the back of my mind, trying to get itself out. When we say the Lord's Prayer, what do we say? Our Father, who art in heaven. In the English, hallowed be thy name. I don't like to use that word hallowed for different reasons, but it's same as the word holy. I don't like to use that word either. I prefer to use the word sanctified. Sanctified be thy name, Yahweh. Sanctified means set apart. Holy and hallowed also is supposed to mean set apart. And that is conveying the idea that no one else is supposed to use that name. No profane is supposed to use that which is holy, that which is sanctified. And that is why, for example, the Jews who were converted to Judaism, they're so afraid to commit a blasphemy in that regard that they go so far as to not use the name at all. So they would say Hashem, right? They wouldn't use the proper name, and so for because of that, and also is there in the English, instead of using the name Yahweh or Jehovah, the option is taken rather to use this euphemism, which is to call it the Lord in all caps. And that is in part, trying to give a certain sanctity to that very sanctified name. Okay, and is there, implicit in the third commandment, thou shalt not take the name to be a vain or a light thing. But so in other words, there's meaning and vibrational significance in the name per se. So you don't sort of like throw it around. It is not an admonition to not at all use the name, but it is an admonition to keep it sanctified. Okay? And so when we return now as the true children of the Most High, the chosen people of the Most High, we do not come back to the word, uh, refusing at all ever to use the name, but rather it is necessary, and it was necessary, that the proper name, be restored. And that was given to me to do, and that is part of the point of this book, The Coming of David Messiah, and the point of that chapter 3, the true name of the Most High. So that yes, we must use the name, but use name understanding that it is nevertheless a sanctified name and not to be associated with anyone who is neither begotten by the Father nor admitted to life eternal with the Father. And our brother, the former husband of Kim Kardashian, is in that category. He cannot at this point, he cannot to apply that name to himself is indeed a blasphemy. And if we in turn use that name, referencing not the Most High, but referencing the former husband of Kim Kardashian, then we too would be guilty of that blasphemy. And that is a warning as a watchman that I am called to give. So that's where I would stop. Again, there's more that could be said, certainly on the theology of that name and who may lay claim to it. But that is deserving of a separate treatment altogether. If at all he calls me to do it, I may do so. Okay, so with that, I give all praise, I give all glory, I give all exaltation to the Most High, Yahweh, and to those still listening, I say, Shalom.